What's up? So with this video, I just couldn't now that we're doing the whole Dexter what perfect episode is for Dexter seasons now. It's just that with season one, obviously I had to pick the pilot for the first one, but for season two of Dexter, I just couldn't. There were so many good episodes of Dexter season two that I was just like, wow, I just can't pick one. So I chose to do the finale of Dexter season two, the British invasion, because I just couldn't. It was between the season two premiere, the season two episode 9, or the finale, and I chose the finale because I just couldn't pick. So this episode starts off with Lila discovering Dokes in where Dexter captured him, and he's like, yo, you gotta let me out of here. And she's like, Dexter's the bay. She's like a crazy psycho limb in here. He's like, who? He's like, Dexter Morgan. He's the Bay Harbor Butcher. And she's like, I love Dexter, so I'm just gonna let you blow up. And immediately blows up Joke. And she starts lighting everything on fire because she's a pyromatic. She's crazy. So Dexter decides. So she decides to set everything on fire. And she drops the keys and decides, oh yeah, she's too much in love with Dexter because she's crazy, and decides to get back together with the Dex. Decides to she's crazy, so she decides to blow Dokes up. Dokes tries to stop it, but it's too late, and she's shocked that this just happened. So meanwhile, with Huerta still trying to prove to Lundy, the other FBI, that Dokes cannot be the Bay Harbor Butcher, but they're totally, not believing her, because who would? So Deb is like, hey, Dexter has dream sequences where he tells Deb he's the Bay Harbor Butcher. First, in the first dream sequence, she arrests him. In the second one, she cries. And the third one, she straight up shoots Dexter in the head. Too bad that wasn't the actual events, because she straight up shoots him in the head, like, bye. And we see Dexter's lifeless body. Too bad those things didn't actually happen, because it would have been crazy to find out that Dexter dead. So he tries to say, what are you trying to talk to me about? And he's like, nothing. And he's like, we gotta get there to the cabin where Dokes might be. They even have Mike Ehrmantraut be there. He's this awful cop who looks down on Lundy and stuff. But yeah, Walter, what are you doing here, Walter? So yeah. So they get there, and Dexter decides, and he discovers that the Jimenez cabin that he killed his mom's killer in is blown up. So they discovered Dokes' body, and and he's like, Loretta, you don't want to go in there, and she's like, is it Dokes? And he's like, we have no idea. So Dexter decides to go to Rita's house, because they're broken up, and he decides, because they kissed once, and she revealed earlier on that after he slept with Lila when they were still together in a hotel room, and then angrily slept with Lila even when they were still together. She broke up with him because of it. But now she realizes that she still has feelings for Dexter, and since Dexter broke up with Lila, she decides to get back together with Dexter, and Dexter shows up, and they sleep together, and Aster and Cody are like, are you two back together? And he's like, yeah, I guess we are. So I guess they're back together. So Dexter decides to so Dexter discovers that there's only one person who would blow up the cabin and steal, and that's Lila. So he basically convinces Lila that he's in love with her, because convinces Lila that he's in love with her, and that they should run off together. So So she's totally like, "Ooh, Dexter, I do love you." So meanwhile, back with Batista, Lila tried to arrest him with him thinking that she was using a rape drug to make people think that he raped her, but he didn't, because guess what? She is an evil crazy. She's evil crazy. So she's evil and crazy. They decided to they decided to go. So they decided to go. And Deb decides to confront Lila, basically saying, "Hey, get out of town, leave, and never come back, or I'll deport you myself." Lila West, because her name's not like Lila Turner, it's Lila West. She's been doing a fake alias to basically be in Miami for years, because by changing her name to Lila Turner, she was able to escape immigration and not being able to be deported back to England or London, England. So, well, Deb is sorry. Deb is basically like, Dex, like I'll throw you back myself, because she totally hates her for basically manipulating Dexter, then going on to manipulate Angel. So Deb totally has a love. And yeah, speaking of Deb's love life, she is in a creepy relationship with Agent Lundy. I know that she had the ice trick killer Brian Moser all up in her business, and then she had Gabriel, her boxer boyfriend, all up in her business, and now for some reason she's dating Lundy, the guy that she's dating Lundy. She's dating Lundy for some reason. So anyway, what happens is that Dexter's. So Dexter tries to kill Lila, but Deb was randomly at the apartment randomly. So Dexter almost kills Deb to get to Lila. And Deb's like, "What the crap? What are you doing here?" And he's like, "The door was open." So then Lila shows up, and he's like, "Hey, and she's like, "Hey, we're just here to see you off." And then and she accidentally grabs Dexter's kill bag, which he tries to say it's his, and she tries to say it's hers. So she takes it, and Deb is like, "Bye bye, sayonara." So he tries to call her, saying, "Hey, I know I had to lie. Deb has no idea we're running off together." And then she sees Dexter's, kill bag, and decides, I guess Dexter decides he wants to kill me instead of running away. So Dexter goes back to the office, where he discovers that Lila called into Cap Matthews saying, "Hey," he want he that's that she was that she was sorry that she was some victim from the Bay Harbor Butcher. But Dexter was like, she tried to mess with Angel. "You better stay away from her." And he's like, "No, Dexter, this case is closing. We can't leave loose ends up. I'll see you in an hour." So Dexter said, so then Lila tries to go after Rita by tranquilizing the babysitter, Vaster and Cody, and taking them captive. So Dexter notices this and finds Lexi, the babysitter, unconscious, and Dexter's like, "Oh no, the kids are call Deb." But Deb is too busy going to run off with Lundy because since the case is closing, Lundy has to leave, and Deb wants to go with him. So she calls Deb, and Deb has to choose between either saving Dexter's kids, saving the kids, or going with Lundy. And what does she choose? She chooses the right option by going to save Dexter and the kids. Obviously, ending her relationship with Lundy. Good, because I didn't like them. They were awful. So he finds her, and he finds them, and she's like. So he finds them, and he's like, "Hey, Lila's nice," but then, and he's like, "Where's Lila?" And Lila's like, "Over here," and she's like, "We could have had it all we could have you could have had it all Dexter and drops it trying to, and she leaves locking Dexter and Cody, and Aster in a burning building because she's crazy, trying to kill Dexter because she's crazy, trying to kill Dexter, Cody, and Aster, and yeah, she's crazy. She's crazy. So anyway, what happens is that Dexter's able, so he gets Aster and Cody out of there. He says run, so they do, but he keeps flashing back on his childhood, and he's like, and flashing back on what his dad said, not knowing that his dad killed himself because of Dexter killing the guy that his dad didn't like was back on the street. That caused Dexter's dad to basically Harry kill himself, and yeah, so anyway, so Dexter flashes back on how he says how Harry asked him what happened if you remember what happened before the Morgans took him in, and Dexter was like, no, and he's like, that's good, he's like, you'll always be a killer, Dexter, but that's when Deb shows up and saves him, and because Deb is the best. So yeah, so earlier on, Laguerta learned that Dokes was the one that was killed and decided to hold a funeral for him, but Deb still believing that Dokes was a butcher, didn't like that Laguerta was holding a funeral for a killer, but more Laguerta tried to say like that Deb tried to tell Deb that Dokes wasn't a killer, he was a good man and a good cop, and she was like, yeah, but you can believe in denial all you want. So yeah, so anyway, what happens is that they get out of there. We see Lila boarding a plane to Paris. Dexter's like, hey, Lila wouldn't have a chance. She tries to tell the cops to go after Lila, saying that she's pale as a corpse, and even the guy says pale as a corpse. That was funny. Dexter decides to tell Deb not to tell them that Lila won't be able to come back, and she's like, good. So yeah, so later that night, Lila's on a plane to Paris, but she gets spinal injected by Dexter, which won't knock her out, but it will. So Dexter decides that he thanks Lila for making him who he is before he kills Lila. So Lila's dead, and now they've avenged Dokes' killer. So since everyone believes Dokes was a Bayard butcher, the only one at his funeral are his family, Laguerta, and surprisingly Dexter. Because Dexter did realize Dokes wasn't bad after all. So then we get a montage of Dexter hanging out with kids, hanging out with Rita, having fun with Rita, what Cody asked her. So then we see Dexter, since Dokes had his original blood slides and those gone, Dexter has a new blood slide case where he can put new murder victims' blood in the blood slides in the case, and he says there is the master, and that kind of where the season ends. So I thought season 2 was a really good season of Dexter. Do I think this episode is perfect? Yes, I do. Because one, Lila is nuts. I'm glad she was killed. I would have done the whole first episode versus last episode of season 1 thing, but I decided not to do that. I just decided to find this was the perfect way to end the season. Like, hopefully season 3 has better episodes. But anyway, that was it for this video, and I'll see you next time when we go on to season 3 to find which episode of season 3 is the best Dexter episode. Might do the premiere. But anyway, see ya.